Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for tuning in. This is your number one destination for World Cup 2026 match breakdowns and highlights. So hit that subscribe button right now and let's get into it, because we have the most dramatic stoppage time winner of this entire knockout stage to break down from Los Angeles, California. Canada defeated South Africa 1-0 at SoFi Stadium on Sunday in the very first match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup round of 32. And the goal that decided it all came in the 92nd minute, deep into stoppage time, from captain Steven Eustáquio, who struck an absolutely exceptional, stunning effort past goalkeeper Ronwen Williams to send Canada into the round of 16 for the very first time in their entire history. 1-0. Stoppage time drama. A co-host nation continuing their fairy tale journey on home soil. And South Africa, who had been so magnificent to make it this far, eliminated. This was the match that officially opened the knockout rounds, and what an opener it turned out to be. Let's break it all down. Before we get into the drama and the goal, we have to understand what this moment means for both of these nations, because the context behind it makes everything even more extraordinary. Canada, co-hosts of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, the nation that has waited literally decades to experience moments like this on home soil, had already made history just by reaching the knockout rounds for the very first time in their history. Under manager Jesse Marsch, they had been one of the most entertaining sides of the group stage, drawing 1-1 with Bosnia and Herzegovina in their opener, then absolutely hammering Qatar 6-0 in a performance that stunned the football world, with Jonathan David scoring a hat-trick in front of a delirious home crowd. A 2-1 defeat to Switzerland in their final group game meant they finished second in Group B, which denied them the home stadium advantage they craved, meaning this round of 32 clash was played in Los Angeles rather than Vancouver or Toronto. And crucially, their biggest star, captain and Bayern Munich left-back Alphonso Davies, had missed the entire group stage with a hamstring injury. South Africa, on the other hand, had already written one of the great stories of this entire 2026 World Cup just by being here. Bafana Bafana, the boys, had failed to even qualify for the last 3 World Cups and had never in their history made it past the group stage despite hosting the tournament back in 2010. But under experienced Belgian coach Hugo Broos, South Africa had been absolutely brilliant in this tournament. A tough 2-0 opening defeat to Mexico, which also saw them reduced to 9 men with 2 red cards, looked like it might end their campaign before it had even begun. But they bounced back magnificently with a 1-1 draw against Czechia, and then produced the shock of the entire group stage by defeating South Korea 1-0 through Thapelo Masiko's stunning winner. That one confirmed South Africa's place in the knockout rounds for the very first time in their history, and an entire nation back home erupted in pure joy and disbelief. Now they were here in Los Angeles, facing Canada, knowing they were already in the history books, but desperate to go even further and write an even more extraordinary chapter. From the very first whistle, the match was tense, tight, and breathlessly competitive. Exactly what you would expect from 2 nations playing in their first ever World Cup knockout match simultaneously. South Africa recorded the first shot on goal in the 6th minute through a Teboho Makona strike that was comfortably saved by Canadian goalkeeper Maxime Crepeau, but it was a sign that Bafana Bafana had absolutely no intention of sitting back and defending. Canada dominated the possession and the chances though, creating 17 touches in the South African box in the first half alone compared to just 5 for the Bafana. Jonathan David, fresh off that group stage hat-trick, had a shot from a tight angle parried away. A scramble from a corner kick almost produced a goal before Aubrey Modiba produced an incredible goal line clearance to keep it level. And then another chance. And another. Canada were creating, but simply could not find the breakthrough. The boos that rang around SoFi Stadium on 2 separate occasions were directed at South Africa for their deeply conservative approach. Keeper Ronwen Williams and the defenders passing the ball back and forth repeatedly rather than committing to an attack. A game plan that frustrated Canada and infuriated the watching crowd. At halftime, still 0-0. Canada the better team by far, but still unable to find that crucial, precious goal. And then in the second half came the moment that changed everything. Jesse Marsch made the decision that the entire Canadian footballing nation had been waiting for. In the 62nd minute, Alphonso Davies, their captain, their talisman, the Bayern Munich superstar who had not kicked a single ball at this World Cup, came off the bench to make his tournament debut. The reaction inside SoFi Stadium was absolutely electric. Every single Canadian fan on their feet, noise levels going through the roof, and Davies, despite clearly still working his way back to full fitness after that hamstring injury, immediately made his presence felt. His very first contribution was a driving run down the left that created a Jonathan David shot, which was parried away by Williams. The Canadian attack was suddenly a completely different proposition, but still the goal would not come. South Africa held firm. Rodriguez clawed away another effort. Tani Oluwasiai fired over the bar, and with every passing minute the tension inside SoFi Stadium became almost unbearable. 5 minutes of stoppage time were announced. South Africa pushed forward and actually created 2 late scares. Apollos forcing a save from Krepo, who could only parry the ball, but threw himself on the rebound before the South African forward could react. And suddenly it felt like this might be going to extra time. But football has a way of producing its perfect moments at its most dramatic junctures. And in the 92nd minute, deep in stoppage time, with South Africa exhausted full time, Canada 1, South Africa 0. And what a result! What a moment! What a night for Canadian football. Canada are in the World Cup round of 16 for the very first time in their history, and they will face the winner of Monday's match between the Netherlands and Morocco on July 4th in Houston. Steven Eustáquio, the stoppage time hero, was the captain who stepped up when his country needed him most, and that goal will live in the memory of every Canadian football fan for generations. Jonathan David was relentless in attack all game despite not scoring. And Alphonso Davies, even managing just 28 minutes off the bench in his return from injury, showed that when fully fit, he is going to be absolutely terrifying for opponents in the rounds ahead. For South Africa, Bafana leave this World Cup as genuine heroes. Their very first knockout appearance, a performance full of heart and organization, and a journey from 9 men in their opening defeat to Mexico to the last 32 of the biggest football tournament on the planet. Hugo Broos has built something very special with this group. Ronwen Williams was outstanding throughout. And the scenes back home in South Africa at that final whistle, despite the defeat, will have been ones of immense national pride. The 2026 World Cup round of 16 is coming, and it is going to be absolutely electric. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, share this video with all your football-loving friends, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our World Cup content. I will see you in the next one. Let's go.